The idea that money can't solve your problems starts to feel questionable when you examine programs like the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Visa. In an era where immigration systems are becoming increasingly competitive and unpredictable, many people have had to let go of their plans to enter the United States through traditional pathways. But for those with significant financial resources, typically ranging from hundreds of thousands to over $1 million, there exists an alternative route that offers a different kind of access. The EB-5 program is often described as a premium entry point into the United States. While that framing captures attention, it oversimplifies a much more complex reality. Yes, it can open doors, but it does so at a high financial cost and under strict limitations. Only around 10,000 visas are issued annually, and that number includes not just investors but also their immediate family members. The program itself was not designed as a shortcut for the wealthy. It was introduced in 1990 as a calculated economic strategy. The objective was straightforward: attract foreign capital and convert it into job creation for American workers. In doing so, it aimed to strengthen the economy while simultaneously offering foreign investors a chance to establish a future in the United States. At its core, the EB-5 program is not about buying citizenship. It is not even about directly purchasing a green card. Instead, it is a structured agreement. The U.S. government provides an opportunity, but only in exchange for measurable economic contribution. Citizenship, if it comes, is the final outcome of a long and carefully monitored process, not the initial product being sold. Today, the standard minimum investment stands at approximately $1,050,000. However, there is a reduced threshold of $800,000 for investments made in what are known as targeted employment areas. These include rural regions or economically distressed urban zones where development is needed most. This lower requirement is not a discount in the traditional sense. It is a policy tool designed to direct capital into underserved areas. But simply investing money is not enough. To qualify under the EB-5 program, that investment must lead to the creation of at least 10 full-time jobs for U.S. workers. These positions must be legitimate and sustained, not temporary roles or part-time arrangements. This requirement is absolute, and it is one of the most critical aspects of the program. Many applicants underestimate how difficult it can be to meet this condition. For this reason, the EB-5 pathway is not just about financial capability. It requires planning, structure, and a willingness to accept risk over an extended period. Investors generally choose between two main approaches, each with its own advantages and challenges. The first is the direct investment route. In this model, the investor establishes or actively manages a business in the United States. The jobs created must be direct employees of that business. This path offers greater control, but it also carries greater responsibility. If the business fails to perform, if hiring targets are not met, or if the venture collapses entirely, the investor's immigration outcome may be jeopardized. The second option, and the one most investors prefer, is the Regional Center Program. Under this structure, investors contribute funds to large-scale development projects that have already been approved. These may include real estate developments, infrastructure projects, hotels, or industrial facilities. The projects are managed by designated regional centers that specialize in structuring investments to comply with EB-5 requirements. One of the key advantages of the regional center model is flexibility in job creation. Investors are allowed to count not only direct jobs but also indirect and induced employment, jobs generated through the broader economic impact of the project. This makes it easier to meet the job creation threshold, which is why this pathway is so widely used. However, ease should not be mistaken for safety. The EB-5 program has faced significant challenges over the years, including cases of fraud, mismanagement, and unrealistic promises. Some investors have lost substantial sums of money, and in certain cases, their immigration benefits as well. To address these concerns, the U.S. government introduced the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act in 2022. This legislation brought stricter oversight, mandatory audits, and increased transparency. Regional centers are now subject to tighter regulations, and there are clearer rules governing how investments are structured and marketed. The goal is to protect both investors and the integrity of the immigration system. Even with these reforms, the EB-5 process remains lengthy and demanding. After making the investment, applicants receive a conditional green card that is valid for 2 years. During this period, the investment must remain at risk, there are no guarantees, and early withdrawal is not permitted. At the end of those 2 years, investors must demonstrate that their funds were used as intended and that the required jobs were created. Only then can they apply to remove the conditions on their residency. Citizenship, for those who continue to meet all requirements, typically becomes an option after 5 years of permanent residence. Another important factor to consider is the quota system. Each year, Approximately 10,000 EB-5 visas are allocated worldwide, and that number includes family members. Additionally, no single country can receive more than 7% of the total allocation unless unused visas are redistributed. This creates significant backlogs for applicants from countries with high demand, such as China and India. In some cases, investors may be approved but still have to wait years before a visa becomes available. This highlights an important reality. Approval does not guarantee immediate entry. So who is the EB-5 program truly designed for? It primarily attracts high net worth individuals who are looking for flexibility and long-term opportunity. These may include entrepreneurs seeking access to the US market, families prioritizing education for their children, or investors aiming to diversify their global footprint. It is not a suitable option for individuals who need to borrow money to qualify, nor for those expecting quick financial returns. The investment must genuinely be at risk, and losses are possible. This is a critical point that is often overlooked in promotional material. Despite these risks, demand for the EB-5 program remains strong. The United States continues to offer a unique combination of advantages: a large and dynamic economy, strong legal protections, world-class educational institutions, and a passport that provides global mobility. In countries where traditional immigration pathways are slow or uncertain, EB-5 represents an alternative that prioritizes certainty over cost. For many investors, it is not about maximizing financial return. It is about securing time, stability, and opportunity. For families, the benefits can be particularly significant. A child with a green card has access to lower tuition rates, broader scholarship opportunities, and the freedom to work without restriction. These advantages can dramatically change the trajectory of a young person's career. For entrepreneurs, the value lies in flexibility. Without the constraints of employer-sponsored visas, they can start businesses, pivot strategies, or take risks without the fear of losing their immigration status. This freedom can be a powerful driver of innovation and growth. However, the process demands transparency. Investors must provide detailed documentation proving that their funds were obtained legally. This includes tax records, bank statements, and business documentation. The scrutiny is rigorous, and any inconsistencies can lead to rejection. Ultimately, the EB-5 program is best understood as a long-term strategic decision. It is not a quick solution, nor is it a guaranteed investment. It is a structured pathway that requires patience, discipline, and a clear understanding of both the risks and the rewards. For those who approach it with the right expectations, it can offer something that is increasingly rare in today's world: control over one's future. And in a global environment where uncertainty is becoming the norm, that control may be one of the most valuable assets of all.